morning, everyone. My name is Helena, and I'm a grade 12 student residing in Ontario. I'll be taking just a few minutes of your time today to look at both the benefits and harms of AI that poses towards humanity through a business perspective. Now, as I begin, I actually want to share one of my own experiences regarding the use of AI in retail businesses. You see, a while back, I visited a sushi place, and although the food was delicious, what I'd like to focus on was this particular restaurant's use of AI, and more specifically, robots. A cat-themed robot named the BellaBot is an indoor delivery robot that features multimodal interactions, integrating visual, tactile, and auditory senses. Regarding BellaBot's automation as it brought me my food, I was surprised to see how much AI has evolved in the past few years to now hold its own place in our typical day-to-day environments and businesses. Now, regardless of its nature, this automation and technology that we see today are all thanks to the innovation and developments by, of course, artificial intelligence. An advancement of our new technological age, AI has both brought forth a wide breadth of gratifying responses towards our society, while simultaneously can be argued towards various concerns. Now, going into more detail with the benefits of AI to humanity, to start off, AI has significantly impacted the efficiency that businesses and, most importantly, their employees are able to work at. AI helps to increase employee productivity through the use of different softwares and applications, such as virtual planners or smart voice automated devices. The use of AI itself can also enable businesses to undergo effective automation processes that assign repetitive manual tasks towards machine-based AI, thus helping the business to save both time and money. Speaking of retail and service businesses, whenever a customer is involved, AI can also be beneficial in this case as well, such as providing 24-hour support for customers through the integration of AI-based chat boxes that allows for shorter response times and improved customer interactions. And for our last advantage, another involvement of AI we're seeing more often today is the use of AI for data analysis, whether it be gathering and processing data to track user engagement, such as through social media analytics, or interpreting data for various marketing strategies. Each supports the workers towards ensuring their jobs can be performed more conveniently, efficiently, and effectively. Now, of course, in terms of the concerns that AI brings forth to businesses, there are certain aspects that can be considered as harmful towards society and also raises potential ethical concerns. A great disadvantage of this nature is the increased dependency on AI that poses questions of whether businesses in our society can function in the way that we are now used to without the assistance of AI. As we build up this dependency, this means that we center many business operations around AI and its technologies. And so if there are potential malfunctions, or of course, the cliched robots decide to take over the world, it would certainly make this consequence hard to deal with. Regarding a similar concern, there is also another factor of AI and the automation process impacting employment opportunities. Many people in society today are worried about threats of AI causing us to lose jobs, such as inventory and repetitive industrial roles, resulting in fears of job security as an increasing risk towards impact of AI in businesses today. Ultimately, at this point in our technological advancement, it may very well be too early to understand the significant effects of AI on businesses as new progress is made every single day. In the end, it may be beneficial to integrate AI into businesses as a tool to support humanity, leaving me with a final request for you, lovely viewers, to take a moment the next time you're working at a job or perhaps shopping at a retail store and to reflect on the impact of AI on this business. And with that note, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Helena, for that wonderful presentation. At this time, Professor Slaughter will be asking you a question.
Thank you.
Hi, Helena. Thank you so much. This was interesting and broad, right? You're talking about all business. And I'm looking at the graph that you included in your essay, and you spoke to this question a little bit just now, because I'm finding these presentations, they go beyond what you submitted, which is, it's helpful, but it makes us have to change our questions a little bit as we go.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I'm seeing here in this list a couple of different categories of things represented. Most of the items seem to me related to automation and efficiency, improving internal and external processes, optimizing, right? That's business getting better at doing what it does, bringing you sushi. They were bringing you sushi before, right?
Yeah.
But a couple of them are about new products and new markets. And in particular, I think since the pandemic started, for sure, we're entering a new normal of work and commerce. And I want to ask you what you think some of the exciting new directions that AI can enable. What do you think some of those are, and maybe some of the specific concerns within those directions? I'm just curious if you have any thoughts about what might be, what new spaces might be opening up.
Of course, thank you for that question. Well, in terms of the different aspects towards kind of the whole evolution we're seeing today, as we know, even from like the advancements, 10, 20 years ago, they're very different from what we see now with all of kind of these different developments, these ventures from a lot of different universities and such. They're all able to kind of provide us, of course, the main goal is to support humans, support us with their jobs, with their careers, education, all of that. But in terms of something I've noticed recently, actually, just because of the pandemic, was like simple mundane tasks that we don't really think about too often. For example, when I visited like the grocery store, there's these smart self-checkouts. There's these new tracking sensors that are AI automated to make sure that we're all social distancing. All of these different factors are able to help and support our lives. But there is also kind of that, it's like a double-sided sword where AI might eventually, develop their own kind of their own humanity, their own mindsets that they're able to kind of rebel against what we necessarily give them. And that all kind of also factors in towards the ethical and morality of using AI in businesses, as well as the whole aspect of how we're able to use these inventions, use these innovative ideas to kind of make sure that we're still staying true to ourselves and our own abilities, but we're able to use them to kind of help us in the future, which at the end of the day is also something that I'm kind of looking into. I'm interested to see where it takes all of us. But at this point in time, kind of, it's still a developing kind of idea, developing kind of industry that we're not too sure of. But right now we can see certain improvements that do help our daily lives.
Thank you. Okay. Keep your eye on the metaverse too.
Metaverse, yes, I know. That's something I wanted to mention too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have experiences with that.
Great question, Professor, and great answer. And our final question for our final finalist in Group A, Mr. George Vanderker.
Oh, I think you might be muted.
You're muted, George. Yes. Let's try that again. Yep, we hear you now. You're okay now, George.
Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. Anyway, so these are hard questions to answer sometimes in a short time. So I'm going to follow up on Professor Slaughter's love for sushi. And so I'm wondering if you see anything negative about AI being involved in the delivery of food. Can you think of a negative thing? And I'm not talking about efficiency, but I'm talking about, is there something societally negative about AI deciding to deliver sushi to your house?
Okay, so in terms of delivery services, they're like, even when you said that question, I kind of was thinking in my mind, like I know in Toronto, they have those like robots on carts that kind of serve the whole purpose of delivering food to your houses, right? So in terms of that, things that I've even seen online, there are concerns of, in terms of if you're transportation wise, if the delivery, kind of the whole, there are certain challenges for AI. They can't think like we do. They can't make these kind of fast-paced decisions or work in kind of these environments that require you to kind of be quick on your feet. And so in that term, there is kind of these constraints that don't allow AI to kind of function and respond the way that we can, such as, for example, the transportation for delivering these food items. On the road, there's a lot of different circumstances. There's something that you can't exactly program and plan beforehand. There's a lot of things that you got to be quick on your feet with that AI, unfortunately, might just not have the abilities to do right now, as well as just general constraints of like, in terms of the food industries, if there is like AI that's actually preparing our food, there might be allergens or there might be other kind of like food regulations that they can't live up to the potential that humans like you and I can kind of ensure within the workplace. So those are all different factors that might potentially affect kind of these negative disadvantages for AI in kind of the food industry, as well as transportation for delivery services. But I just like to note that like what I saw, the cat robot kind of delivering my food, it just really made me reflect and think about how like it's the AI is prominent in our societies today, but in little ways that you don't really, like, of course, a human can deliver it, but it's kind of that, that unique little aspect that makes it special with the AI.
Thank you, Helena. Of course, I don't want AI to be like my mother, deciding what I should eat and what I should not eat.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, thank you.